love the start.
You ready?
That's good.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Trustee Cox,
Here.
Trustee Foley,
Yes, ma'am, here.
Trustee Hopkins,
Here.
Trustee Royer,
Here.
and Supervisor Allen.
Here. Public comments? If none, moving on.
Mind if I do that one more after, since there's no...
Go ahead. Any reports by officers, committee, or special committees? Well, we called this together to get this squared away. One reason is I'm gonna be gone, you know, but that wouldn't be a good enough reason.
Well, what do you mean you're gonna be gone?
I'm gonna be on vacation.
Oh, for the whole month of December, or?
I'm only gonna miss 8 meetings, but I'll be gone for.
I'm confused. Sorry, you're gonna miss 8 meetings?
Well, it all depends how we do.
Oh, a meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, I think that'd be all right.
Yeah, not 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah.
So you're gonna miss the next meeting, the open session meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, I appreciate you, the way I understood it is we were meeting today for you guys to explain to us about the levy. We're still fairly new, this is only our second
Right.
one. I'm open with that, and then, we don't have to pass this until December the 27th is the last, but we're not having a meeting, so basically our last meeting is what, the second week of December.
Yes, but I have to have it to the county by 28th.
Right. What I'm saying is, we had a couple meetings in case we
Right.
don't have to vote on it, the meeting that you missed. You know, so, okay, just trying to be clear.
Sherry, may I ask a question? I
Yes,
don't think
ma'am.
that was
Nope.
clear. You're canceling the meeting for the 13th, correct?
If it's fine with all the people.
Motion to approve canceling the meeting.
You have a motion second?
Well, we're skipping on the agenda here. a
Yeah.
little bit.
He brought it up under reports and it's...
Was there any reports by officers or special committee? None?
No, I'm looking forward to hearing, and then, I don't know how to, Jack, if, near the end of the meeting, if you want to discuss what we talked about, if not, that's another time, whatever. About the issue that came up.
Oh, well, I'm not worried.
Okay,
Yeah,
sounds good. All right.
And the new business would be the tax levy.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions on the tax levy?
Well, yeah.
I guess since we're not gonna approve it today, we might as well table it.
Oh, we're here to discuss it, I think, aren't we?
What's to discuss?
Well, can you explain what
Well,
we're
this
asking, what they're...
this is the same as
everything.
last.
There's no change to it.
Okay, who prepared it? Did you prepare it?
Yes.
Completely by yourself?
Completely by myself. Well,
Yeah, we talked.
Terry, I said,
Yeah.
You and
the
Terry?
levy's coming up,
It was Vicky,
and Larry
yeah.
said,
Okay,
any changes? And he said, no, it'll be the same as last year. I said,
We're just
"Okay."
trying to save some money if we can, you know.
It is exactly the same. There have been no increases, if my recollection is right. This is the 4th year, no increase.
Yeah, and
In
that
fact,
could,
last year it actually
and
went
that
down.
could get us in trouble down the road.
What year do you think it?
No.
Dan?
Well, I saw it on the news.
well, I'd like to see the numbers, how it was come up with, especially from the township side, the assessor and the highway department, they're responsible for theirs. We do have to approve it, but I'd like to see our numbers, like what budget are we basing this off of? We adjusted it last year for the surplus. I'd like to know how that surplus is dwindling, if it's actually working. Was it enough of a reduction of our levy to lower it? Was it not? I mean...
What's your opinion on that?
Well,
There's no,
why, we're worried about it now.
The one that it can affect, let's say, within a year or two would be general assistance. The rest is in pretty good shape. I mean, unless some unforeseen circumstance pops up. But you are levying exactly the same amount as you did last year. There is no change, and so that would mean you would have the same amount of funds coming from,
Since,
the county.
since we're all here, I mean, are we gonna be presented something? Dan, I'll give you the floor right back, sorry about that.
Well, you do have the levy, right?
I know, but I have not really, I'd like to see someone compare it to, I mean, the things last year, that's great. My question I have for you, to follow up your answer to me is, other than the insurance fund for the town,
Mm-hmm.
are we below the 2.5 times that the law says?
Thank you for asking that.
While I'm not, I mean, I'm concerned about that, I'm not for issuing
Yeah.
checks and costing the taxpayers money. But, so we
That's
don't
a tough
know.
question to answer right now, because of, the levy, this levy wouldn't be collected until the middle, of
Next year.
2019.
Okay.
And so, I don't know what'll be
It's
right
it's
before
based
that,
on
but.
what our
but it-
expenditures till next April, right?
Right.
Okay.
And so,
If our
you are spending more than you're bringing in most, in most cases. There may be a couple of smaller levies, like the audits, there's nothing in there anymore, at all, you're gonna have an audit,
Well, we have a surplus of
Right, we have a surplus in there, correct.
Well, let's bleed it down.
Yeah.
Let's not tax people for
Right.
something we have
And
money
so,
sitting there.
so again, there is nothing in there, on the town side, on the road and bridge side, I can't remember if they still have a levy in there for that,
Well, I just don't wanna
It's a
rush
small
into
amount.
this. We only get one shot a year at this,
right.
and
Well, if we got to the next meeting.
I'll be honest with you, the way this meeting was called, and this is what we're gonna discuss.
Well, I was here just to do the monthly work.
I'm not
I
putting
didn't
this
go
on
to the
you,
meeting.
but it's
Yeah, no,
like,
I told
it's
you.
like we're looking for a
No,
rubber
Terry
stamp
told me,
here.
but,
Just rubber stamp this, it's
Right.
all done for you.
I
We're
mean,
not gonna ask you about it or let you have any input.
Uh-huh.
I mean, even if I have input, do I? I'm one vote on this thing, so
Can I ask a couple of questions?
you can have it.
All right, and we can, go back and forth, but you help provide I thought that's why you were here, was to present us the levy, go through it like you did last year with us.
Yeah, that's basically, yeah.
Okay, all right. So I guess my first question, Dan asked, are we still 2.5 years over, and you didn't seem to know, and it's
I would
very
say it's
clear in the
difficult
audit.
to tell for me right now, I really didn't do anything with that.
I understand.
I really didn't do anything, to see, I don't know exactly what the amount of funds that we have right now anyway.
Right.
I know we're still
Dan.
collecting tax revenue and stuff.
Basically, we lowered the levy last December.
Right.
It was for the budget, because it started last April.
Mhm.
So really, we haven't had a full year of spending to see how it's affected it.
Correct.
And when you said we haven't had enough of it just got approved last year, I understand that now, and that answered my question. So really, I mean, there's no one that can answer that, because you're asking, we almost have, almost 5 more months?
Yeah.
We got January, February, March, and December, and this month, we have almost 5 months of our budget left. We don't know how much we're gonna spend, so it's hard to.
But your question was, right now, do we have 2.5 years?
Well-
And we're not even close, Dan. And if you bring your,
In one
if
fund.
I would've been, there's a couple funds. If I would've been a little bit more, I thought you were just presenting to us, I didn't know that I was prepared to, vote or anything today. But I did go through our audit, and there's still some funds. Our general assistance is, we're right around the same spot we were last year as we are this year, after lowering. Same thing with
Now,
insurance.
the one thing to realize, that audit is through March of 2018.
Right.
The new levy didn't even come into play
I
until
agree.
this summer.
I agree, but then when it shows in the audit also how much we spend,
Right.
on a 3-year even average.
Mhm.
If you did, in some of these cases, around 8 years, we're not talking 1 year, 8 years, we still have enough money.
Yeah.
And so there is a case to be made.
One fund.
Well, I'll put it all together, and then I can present it, but the insurance fund too, this is on,
That's the only one, right.
right,
That's 8 years old.
okay, but the other ones are, most all of our funds, or at least we have a 2-year cushion.
We will be able to tell after next April how that, probably next year's levy, Cause it's almost, you're almost working 1 year in arrears.
Right, and we still maybe possibly have a disagreement on how to do that, because I'm one that believes that if we're against the law, like if you pull somebody over, you don't say, 2 years from now, you can agree with the law, but right now, it's okay. My point is,
Yeah, that-
no, I mean, but Dan,
We've already had that discussion.
But our-
And we've checked this, has no township in the state of Illinois got hit up about that yet. Because the state of Illinois apparently knew kind of how it was, you know?
And it's difficult to do it that quickly. I mean, you know that. I mean, you can't just, even if you levy nothing, you know.
That's what we did, right.
You know what I mean? You probably would take you another, at least a year before you would dwindle all your funds.
oh, some of them,
you know,
5 years, right, and so that's my
Some
point.
are smaller ones.
If we're
Some are
starting
smaller
with that,
ones.
if we're-
Realize the audit is the smallest levy we have. You know, that's a very small levy. It's zero in the
Absolutely.
town, but then it's $1,900 in the.
I'm just
in
trying to
road
be
bridge.
within the law.
Right,
I got
right,
you.
yeah, that's
This
fine.
is small potatoes
Okay.
compared to, I understand. The other question I have then is, so what you're saying is it's the same, the levy's the exact same?
Right.
The exact same of what we were asking for last year, or what we passed?
What you approved, what you passed and approved.
So the new
No
levy,
change.
the new levy that is gonna be asked for us to approve has general assistance at how much?
General assistance is, get to that page, $36,327. On page 4
Okay.
of the town levies, page 4. That shows all the levies right there, you know.
So that's all we're levying is
Column.
$36,000?
And the year before, I think, it was about, wasn't it about 100 and something thousand?
170, I believe.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and we typically, in that 3-year average, we typically spend about 100, on per year, and again, this is average the last 3 years. Here it was, general assistance, 3-year average was 108,000.
108,000.
Right, and then we had a reserve of $407,000 last year.
Yeah.
And so that we had that was the excess. And, so anyway, let me look at some other, when this says insurance tax,
Mm-hmm.
that is for like our building insurance, things like
For
that?
building insurance, doesn't have anything to do with, health insurance.
Right. 3-year,
What about, but don't we have a surplus in that fund?
right.
That one I think you do.
How much?
I'm not, you know, I don't have that with me, because I didn't really know the meeting was gonna be called, but, I think that one had a surplus. I can't remember how much it was. You
Can I-
may have it, you know.
Last year, the surplus
I got
was,
the audit right here.
last year, yeah, you can go through it, but last year, my numbers was 183,000. Our 3-year average was only 24,000. So my question is, why are we gonna be levying 60,000 if we only average 24,000 in the insurance?
Really? We only spent 24,000?
That was the 3-year average.
Really?
I wish I
Well,
would've
that's
been.
okay. I mean, that's,
Mhm.
I'm.
And I'll
I
look
don't
at this
have
more.
the stuff with
Can
me
you,
either,
can
so
you
I
pull
can't-
it from the audit? Because I got the audit right here.
Yes.
This is last year's audit?
That's the one we just got.
2018.
Yes, Scott?
Yep.
Okay.
Should be on it, is it near the last page?
Trying to see what, I know it's changed, because I haven't done one of these audits in ages and stuff, so, I know they had each one listed, I thought.
I've got to cross my eyes to look at that audit.
I would've been totally at all. Okay, general assistance. Here it is, it's a town insurance. Total revenue, so we did ask for 66,000, well, you can't really tell.
Last year was 66.
No, so it says here, unless Jim will be better than this than I will, it says here 22,111 on page 37.
37.
And if you go to the top, it says town audit, town insurance, IMRF, then it has your expenditures.
For all the
So then it has
buildings.
revenues
Yeah,
over.
$22,111.
So we had $44,000 too much we asked from the citizens in this audit. Now,
Well, I know it's insurance on the building, they have one vehicle, so it's, you know, that's the assessor and
Well, I'm
stuff.
sure there's some bonding and some other,
There's some miscellaneous other things. I'd have to say workman's comp, but, you know, workman's comp on the town side and even the assessor side isn't that much because they're office help and stuff, you know, they don't, not like road and bridge. I mean, I guess if you wanted to, pick one, you could, that
Right.
could be one.
But,
that
so
might
you
wanna
do agree though,
discuss.
the audit says 22, that we spent last year,
Right,
22.
22,000, yeah.
Right, and would you agree, Mike, if we were only spending 22,000, and our 3-year average is only 24, that there's no reason to ask the taxpayers to ask for 60,000?
when we have a surplus in that one,
And we have a surplus, we're over by law.
8-year surplus.
Would you agree with that, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the only other thing I'm gonna say about this all is, if we keep keeping these levies down or lowering them, we're gonna get ourselves in deep crap.
How?
When I came on this board, they were in deep crap. They borrowed money from Larry, from the highway department, to be able to get through till tax money came in, and then had to repay him. And it was the same thing
So,
over and
I really
over
wanna know the
and
answer to
over
this, because I
again,
never want this to happen.
before I came on this board.
So my question is, I've heard that a few times, how did we have to how did we get ourselves in that mess?
I wasn't on the board at the time.
Because I've heard this argument, but I can't ever find
Well,
any evidence of that.
They didn't increase the levy, you know, you increase by 5% without going out to the voters.
Right.
You know, that's
Oh,
Right.
but,
Well,
the
that's
way it is and stuff. And they didn't increase the levy for probably,
12 years.
at least 10 years. And you have to say, I mean, okay, you're not gonna increase your levy for 10 years, and back then, it may have, I don't know, I can't tell you for sure, but maybe the expenses were more, or they had more in one certain area and stuff. Eventually, it got to the point where GA went broke first, because they're, you know, and you have a lot of assistants, you have a lot of people that you're helping out and stuff. Then, the town side, when I say broke, they just didn't have the money at the end of the year. Okay, so kinda look at my, you know, okay, at March, your year end,
Mhm.
you're not collecting until the middle of
Yeah.
summer, you're almost out of money. Okay, so you got April, May, June, July, salaries, other expenses and stuff, where that's when the town and GA had to go to Larry and say, Larry, you have excess funds, will you let us borrow
Right.
money?
And
And-
so
and
I
they
understand that
rectified
part
that
of
by
it. I'm just
increasing the
trying to
levy.
look at the numbers that we have
Right.
now and seeing that if our 4-year average now is only 22,000, why would this board want to ask the taxpayers for over 66,000, and we're already over by law? You know, and so,
Right.
in 20 years, you might be right,
Right.
but right now,
Right
that
now,
doesn't make, you know. Dan wants to say something.
Mike, I understand we don't wanna be broke again, but we're not talking about general assistance, and we're not talking about the town fund, we're talking about the insurance fund. We're levying almost 3 times as much as what we spend in a year, and we have an 8-year surplus. I think we can get rid of that for now. In 4 years or so, if they see that we're, you know, spending more on insurance, they can start to levy something. You can go up to, you know, 4.5, 4.9% without even approval. But I don't see where we should tax people when we have money sitting in the bank to do the same thing.
I totally concur with you.
Okay.
All right, I mean, I agree with you on that. I don't wanna get us in a bad spot.
That's
But
right.
we're talking about the insurance
That's what
fund,
we gotta be aware of.
and to me, that's the only fund that we're in the 2.5 times. I guess we lowered it last year, but
You
not
did
enough.
lower it, I don't know how much it was. so
We
I
did
don't-
lower it last year, I know we did, but I think, I mean, I would move, it would be my position that we don't levy anything if we have an 8-year surplus
Right.
based on $24,000 a year. If we have that much of a surplus, that would be my position. Now, I'm making that based on, we're assuming we still have that 8-year surplus, but that would be my position on this levy. So, go ahead, Mike.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say this from going back at a conference that we had at the DoubleTree.
How long ago did this one, when was this?
About a
last-
year ago.
Yeah, I remember, okay.
that there were quite a few people that spoke on that. And this 2.5% or 2.5 years of surplus, whatever, that was pretty unclear at that meeting. And I've talked to a bunch of other lawyers and people with TOI, that's pretty unclear about that. And that law is pretty unclear. Or that statute.
And that's why there
It's not
hasn't been no
really a law,
questioning.
it's a statute.
All right, so what's unclear about it? 2.5 year, 2.5
We're
year.
not-
It's very,
That's not here to
very,
discuss the
it's
law.
very unclear
Point
about
of
it.
order, Jay.
Point of order, why can't I ever ask a question, but then you always get to jump in?
You're asking about something that doesn't, is not
So,
relevant.
I'm
to-
trying, yes, it is relevant to where I'm going, all right? Where I'm going on this is, if the law in your mind is clear or unclear, why in the world would you want to tax our citizens, all right, more money when we already have well over an 8-year surplus? Why would you want to do that? It doesn't make any sense.
That wasn't my point.
Then what was your point on?
My point was,
Down
it
at
keeps
TOI.
being brought up about this 2.5,
Okay.
2.5 times. It's very unclear of the statute and the law. Yes, it is.
Two
Don't
and a half
argue
years
with me
is
on
20
that. Yes, it is, sir.
Okay.
But
2.5 years. That's
Yeah,
very
we
clear.
just got a difference of opinion
And-
on this.
Well, I mean,
Well, he's the lawyer. I'm
no,
not.
well, let's ask our lawyer. What do you think about the law that says 2.5 years?
So, the case law
Mhm.
and, has been pretty clear that at anything exceeding 2.5 year surplus, a taxpayer can file an objection. And that has been the case law for a while, and now there's a statute which codifies that. The statutes are laws. That's how we know what the laws are, is we codify them into statutes. And right now, the new statute is 2.5 times. No one's tested it, and that's where the lack of clarification is. But it's been the practice, that 2.5 times is,
It was my understanding it was a county, that Caron County, or one of the counties up near Chicago did,
okay.
and then they got the refund, and that's the article that I presented, and our old attorney had the same position, so.
Yeah.
As with any other statute, Jack, it usually has a penalty or a remedy in most laws, correct?
Right.
That law does not have either of those. So it's pretty much, it's more of a guidance or a suggestion.
Right, and I think that what that statute does not do is abrogate a private citizen's right to file a lawsuit.
Right, no, it doesn't, it doesn't.
Right.
Right, they do that, it's a civil matter then.
Right, right.
You're right, and my whole thing, just so you understand, Dan, is I thought it was unfair, like for, say, a big landlord, that it really does matter when you have hundreds of properties and you can get thousands of dollars back in taxes, they would have the reason to go and file a motion, where somebody little on the corner where it's only gonna be, you know, $30 or whatever, it doesn't make as much sense, and they don't have the access to an attorney and the money, and so I wanted to make it fair for everybody to say, listen, we are not going to violate the law that he just stated, it's very clear, all right? Let's do the right thing. And so what we as a board agreed to last year was to start making these levies zero and start trying to get in line. And that's...
So you're saying it's fair to the landlords who wouldn't have to litigate it themselves and pay their own legal fees, but you want the township to bear the cost of that and have the little guy in the corner have to pay for us to refund that money to each one of those, all those
I
landlords?
provided a, hold on. If you just said to put words in my mouth, I'm telling you exactly what I did last year. Last year, I went to the county treasurer's office, they said they would absolutely send the refunds out for free, all right? It was the stamps that was gonna cost, okay? For 16,000 parcels, it was about $8,000, you know, or less. That's not true? There's more than 16,000 parcels?
No, it costs more than that.
Well, the letter from the county treasurer that I have, they were gonna do it for free, and that I presented to this board. So, you know, whatever, but, so my next question, I guess my question is, would this be the time to ever discuss, say the assessor's office? You know, because that has been a thing that I've come up with that I don't understand why we have we're spending twice as much payroll as the Edwardsville Township. They have the same number of parcels within a couple hundred. Is that the time to discuss this? Because if you bring down the levy to get it to where what they're levying, all right, they would have to figure out on the assessor side how to do the same job that Edwardsville's doing.
Supervisor Allen, may I have the floor?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That is a question you need to ask the assessor, Mr. Paletti. Because we do not, all we do is approve that budget that he supplies to us. When he's doing things for that, we can't touch most of the stuff in his office and that, because there was a lawsuit years ago. The supervisor, Assessor Paletti from his office sued the township. And it went on for like 6.5 years, Terry, I believe. And there was a lot of money involved in it. And we had 2 different sets of attorneys say, get out of it.
I wasn't a part of that, so.
I wasn't either when it first happened. I came on when this was all going on and said, what is going on here? I attended meetings, and I'm like, what is going on here?
So, you said the budget. So we do set the assessor's levy.
Well,
It's part of the town, it's part of the general town corporate tax levy.
Mm-hmm.
The town, actual town side, and the other side of the office, it's all encompassed in there.
Right.
And realize that in the levy is also all the elected members, the board members, supervisor, road district.
So how it works, to
everybody.
my understanding, is so Mr. Paletti presents what he thinks he needs for the next year from the taxpayers. Is that how that works?
I don't know if he's ever really got involved in the levy. He is,
Percentage,
as
but
far as as long as I've been doing it since he had the lawsuit, he provides Terry with a budget.
Okay.
I go through, I look at it and stuff, and say, I can't do anything with it, so I
Right.
just make sure that
That's what
it
it's
lines
presented.
up and, hey,
So
looks
my
okay
point
to
to
me.
you, Mike, is if Mr. Paletti comes forward and says, I want $1 million, all right? You're saying, your position is, let me finish, your position is, no matter what, this township, this board has to approve whatever he asks for. Is that what your position is?
absolutely not.
Then what is your position?
My position is, the budget is provided to us. We can either accept it,
The budget, okay.
budget,
Right.
or reject it.
In whole,
Hmm?
as a whole, we can't line item veto or anything like that, right?
Not as a whole for the whole thing.
But now what about the
His
levy?
budget.
The levy,
Just like we can for Larry's, just like we can for Terry's.
What about the levy?
side. As far as the budget goes, besides the levy.
We're talking, but we're gonna be approving or not approving the levy. So my question is, can Mr. Paletti ask for any amount that he wants? And what your position is, because of this lawsuit, that we have to accept
I
it?
said no.
So we don't have to accept it?
His budget, no.
We're gonna be voting on the levy, correct? Okay. Mike, do you understand where I'm at? I'm asking if Mr. Paletti presents us whatever the numbers are here for the assessor's office, we have to just accept that, we can't even debate it, we can't say no. That's my question to you is,
He presents the budget long before the levy is put together.
oh,
well, it's actually after the levy, Micah. The budget.
wait, let me explain.
The budget is in.
Quiet now.
It is in, June,
Mhm.
okay?
Right.
And so, let's
Yeah.
push forward. Let's say you approve all this,
Right.
and, okay, there's your levy, that's the money you're gonna get. Then in June, okay, here's the funds that we have,
Yep.
now, how are we gonna spend them?
That's right.
And that's where you come up with your budget.
Right.
So, he really doesn't have anything, in my way of thinking, anything to do with the levy. And I'm not gonna say he doesn't in a way, but he may say, okay, well, Terry may say, well, heck, he went up 20%, let's just say that, I wouldn't say he would,
Mm-hmm.
then that would affect
his
The
budget.
town side, the budget would go up 20% with the town side, and so basically the levy for the town side would have to go down 20%.
Exactly, and that's my point. If now is the time to discuss why we are more than double our payroll than Edwardsville's, okay, and if we lower that levy, then Mr. Paletti is forced to say, well, how is Edwardsville doing it? Why can't we, and I'm not talking huge numbers, I'm saying bring it down a little bit. Let's figure out ways to get more in line with what other communities are doing. That's my point. If we lower the levy, he'll have to figure out a way to lower his budget, and that's where I'm presenting.
Can I answer that question?
Yeah,
And then I'll let the assessor.
Okay, let her finish, you done?
Go ahead,
I was
Galen.
under the impression that's how his lawsuit came about.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike, what was you gonna say?
Second of all, Edwardsville Township gets a bunch of their parcels assessed by
Wrong.
the county.
You weren't here last meeting, that is absolutely wrong. That
No, I know it's right. Don't tell me it's wrong. I know it's right.
So you're saying,
I know several townships.
I wanna get this on record, so you're saying, Mike, that Edwardsville, that the county assessor, all right, assesses Edwardsville's property, and Edwardsville Township doesn't have to pay for that, is that what you're
I
saying?
didn't say all.
Then what are you saying?
I didn't say all the parcels.
Make it
I
clear.
said some of them.
Some. I have evidence of
Definition.
zero.
You're
Zero
wrong.
Okay, well, I'll see who I can get, if I can get the deputy assessor to come in, because they would bill for that. I have an email, I have all the information stating that is absolutely not, because I wanted to get to the bottom of it. I want to figure out how they're only spending $150,000 in payroll, and why are we spending $320-something thousand in payroll? I want to know that answer too. And if the answer is that they're doing that, then I want to, heck, why don't we do that? I want, whatever the answer is, I don't care. I'm not on either side, I just want to know what the answer is for our taxpayers. And that's the answer that I got. Go ahead.
Dan?
When do we get, and Larry, maybe you can help me answer this, when do we get the levy number from you and Pete? Or just you, I know you don't speak for Pete.
We've already got it.
You already gave us that number. Do we not approve that, or we only approve your budget? Is that all we ever approve?
You approved the levy too.
We do. Okay. We don't have that today, or you have it?
Got the levy.
Okay. We don't have it. At this meeting, though.
You don't have a copy of it?
No, sir. I have the town levy. I don't have the
Did
assessor. I don't have the assessor's levy. I don't have the highway levy.
That's not your fault.
No, I'm just asking the question.
Notes here.
Okay. Look at your numbers.
Our levy stays.
Maybe I am missing a page, but anybody else see it in there? That's it.
Then mine.
You got 6 pages.
Okay. Well,
I
got
have assessors,
administration,
but I
assessor.
don't see road and
Yeah, I don't see road and bridge in here.
Road and Bridge says yours stays the same?
Stays the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why she didn't put it in there. I know they sent it over.
And the bookkeeper says it is the same too.
Well, everything's saying the same.
Well, that's
we
what
doing
we're
here?
talking
Why
about,
don't we
Mike.
table it till the next meeting and let's go, the next meeting?
Mike, we're not everything's staying the same. I think you already agreed that we found $60,000 for sure that's not gonna stay the same.
We can eliminate that one.
Right.
Zero that one,
And-
in my opinion.
And so my
On one
question
vote.
is, I'm just curious what the board's feeling is on this. The assessor is levying $441,000, okay? If, I'm gonna find out what Edwardsville is levying, just for whatever. What if they are levying $200,000? They're assessing the same number of properties that we are, not getting any assistance. If I can prove that to you, would you see, Mike, that why are they only half of what we are levying? Would you ask that question, and would you want to figure out ways to figure out how to lower the tax burden on the taxpayers? Sure.
I'd like to hear an answer.
Okay. That's all, and so that is still an open question, so that's great, and that's all I
If
want.
it's the correct answer.
I want, there is no, the fact is the correct,
Yeah,
I wanna know the facts.
that's correct.
Okay, and if the fact comes out that there is no magic, wand, or what, they're just doing it with less people, be open to trying to figure out how to get that more comparable to Edwardsville?
Depends,
Okay. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we come. I just want an open mind about it, that's all I want.
that's right. Okay,
Anybody else?
earlier in the meeting, I
Mike,
made a
you got something else,
motion to
Mike?
table this about this tax levy. There's no sense going on and on and on about this today.
I think if
Some
we're
good
gonna,
points, though.
we need
Well,
to
you
have,
didn't get
we
some.
need to have road and bridge. Are we in agreement that we can zero out the insurance fund if we have that surplus? I mean, without taking an official vote, because they're gonna have to prepare a document for us to approve. Can we ask an
Are you
advisory?
gonna zero it or just lower it?
You can vote on it right now, if you're really, it's on the numbers.
Yeah, we can vote on line items. We're not voting on the entire.
2018 tax levy is on
You
there.
Well,
tell me
to
what
be
you want
honest
to
with
be,
you,
and I'll.
I'd like to vote on it,
Yep.
but I think, I'd like to make an educated, decision on that, because I wanna make sure that surplus is there. I don't wanna vote on it to remove it, and then have to
Yeah.
vote to add it.
Can I suggest something?
Yes.
Because I was coming into this meeting just to get a presentation. That's what I was coming into this meeting for. I had an open mind about everything, all right? So, I'm with you. I would like to look at what's being presented today, go home, look at the audit, try to find all the information that I can to make an educated vote. And so we already know we're having a discussion, open discussion, and then on the next meeting, is the next meeting your vacation or the one in December?
Next meeting.
Is the vacation?
Yeah, I won't be here, but I mean,
Well,
you
we
guys
can still discuss
yeah,
it,
you guys can still,
I
and
can come if you need me to. so.
I think it'd be a good
No,
idea to be here and make sure, and then,
yeah, he knows our books.
and then what I'm saying is, there might be, some debate still, let that settle out, and then in the meeting in December, we're gonna have to, vote on this levy. That's what we did last year anyway.
27th, you have,
You're right, no, the meeting in December, I think is the 12th, or something like that.
you have to vote the 27th.
Well, you're just
of
missing
November.
one meeting, Terry, right?
I have to
believe-
have it into
I got it,
town
fine.
by the
The
28th.
second meeting of the month, and
Because-
this month, you're not
I
missing,
know.
correct?
Jim, when is our levy due to the state?
Well, it's due to the county.
The county.
The county is due by the,
Hold on.
it's due by the end of December,
End
but,
of
but, you have to have time, this is Christmas, and so we've always had it to where we give it to them before Christmas, if I remember
Listen,
right.
She was under the understanding that we had to have it before December the 1st, and that's not true.
No.
I don't know,
That's
I've never seen that, unless you have something in there, I mean,
I don't have it with me, you guys.
Remember, we had this big debate
Yeah.
last year.
I'm almost positive that
It's
it has to
December the
be,
27th.
has to be presented to the county, because it has to be there by December 31st, because then they start going through the tax bills and what are they gonna be for the next year, so they can mail them out in
We have time.
June.
Okay.
Last year, we didn't
I
pass it
will not
until
be
the
here
12th.
at the end of December, I won't be in this city.
No, it's December the 12th is our last meeting in December.
Okay.
So you have to approve
Of the
it,
year.
or
Yes,
not approve it by then,
Unless
you
we
have
have to have a
to approve it,
special
put it that way.
And then listen, if this board, hopefully not, and I don't think that we will, we came to an agreement last year, all right? Point is, if we didn't get it on the 12th, then we would have to call a special meeting. But I think the way we're doing it right now, open discussion, then the next meeting, we can have more discussion with, if the public has any, because this has to go out for the public to inspect it, okay?
Well, the temporaries are
Right,
posted now.
but for the next
Well,
meeting,
that's gonna change though, so
Right.
we shouldn't even post them, technically.
well, it has to be out for
You have
2
to,
weeks?
Because you have to
3 days.
post it had to be in the newspaper.
Wait, I have a question, Terry. If we post this already, we're posting what we're gonna approve. If we're gonna change it,
No,
But anything can be changed, right?
Same as the budget.
Before it's,
What they're presenting, then we, the public, everybody has time to look at it and say, no, we don't agree with this, or we agree with it. They have a chance to have their own input. And that's why we're not approving this today. We can't. I don't even think by law we could approve it today. So, that's
it's been a good
can you
discussion.
research that surplus for us? Will you check that?
I'll look at it,
Please.
I'll look at it.
You got my number, just let me know.
And while you're looking at it, if you could do the, actually, just let us know what our surplus is, and
They're gonna
we
be
have the
same.
audit fund, the general town fund.
Right.
They're gonna be the same though, Derek, 'cause we lowered it last
They won't
December. It
change
hasn't
from what the
affected.
audit is,
But
because realize
the
that,
general town fund, it's just good
hold
to
on,
know.
a minute, let's do one at a time.
Well, I mean, again, did you know that last year, we had an excess of over $1.2 million in the general town fund? We were getting close to that 2.5 years, and so it's just good to know. I'm not suggesting on the general fund that it's lower.
Let him say what he's gonna say.
When I'm looking, this would be the last,
Right.
numbers that I would have available, from the audit.
Okay.
Looking through it, going through the audit town,
Right?
the insurance town, general assistance, we really lowered that. After that, it looks like that's okay, that was okay, that was okay. And again, the insurance fund in Road and Bridge look like the problem areas, that are over that 2.5 year
Right.
threshold that you wanna kinda keep it under. So that would be the audit and insurance in both, the audit in town and the insurance in, both Road and Bridge and town.
Yeah. And 'cause see, I see like in the general assistance, last year's my numbers were, we had, what was it, $407,000. This year, it
Went
actually,
up.
yeah, it went up, $478,000.
Now, this
But
is,
this year it will change, realize, because
It should start going down.
you're only levied, 36,000 for, general assistance.
And that just
You
doesn't
know
show
you're
up in
gonna
this audit.
spend probably 100, let's say, so, that will eat away at that. Again, it's not gonna do it in 1 year.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
well, this is a detailed levy ordinance for the road and bridge. Do we not get one of these for the assessor's office to see where?
The assessor is part of the town. It's on page.
Okay, yeah,
You know.
it's a very small.
Yeah, I
micro-
mean,
And that's my point to you, Dan, is like, it seems like it's a part of the town, okay? I don't see any reason why we couldn't if in fact we find out evidence that they're not doing anything different other than they have,
Yeah.
Your options are to approve or not approve the levy.
oh, so but we can change it.
Yeah, right, well, but if you vote on approving or not approving, you're not gonna change the assessor's budget or levy, you're just gonna approve or not approve what he submits.
Okay, so but what he just said, just so I can understand it, the assessor's levy is a part of the general town fund levy. So what we're saying is, we're changing the insurance, we're changing things within the general town fund, why can't we change the assessor's part of it? The $441,000.
Can't do it.
I don't think we have the authority.
He sets his levy.
But do you understand what I'm?
So, no, and where we're not communicating is, where authority stops and starts. He sets his levy, but you can approve it or not approve it. So say he sets it at X or X plus 1, whatever number you want it to be, and you think it's too high, well then you can say, I don't approve this budget. But when you say, I don't approve this budget, or I don't approve this levy, it is for the whole township. You get, when you approve it or don't approve it.
So his is separate then, or not separate?
It is both. It is both separate. It is part of what we pass.
Mm-hmm.
But he sets that number.
So if he said $1 million,
You can say no. You say, we don't approve this whole budget for this whole levy.
right, and so then I guess, so if I can figure out exactly why they're only levying $200,000 and we're levying $441, I'm gonna say, but you're saying that is a part of the general town, or it's not? Are we gonna have 2 votes or 1 vote?
So what I'm telling you is that
Mhm.
line item is in the levy and in the budget.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not telling you anything else. I'm telling you it's in the levy or in the budget. And you
Right.
you vote on it, you approve the levy, or you approve the budget, or you do not. That's your vote is yes or no.
So on everything, on general assistance, or,
Right,
What?
if there's an item in general assistance that you don't agree with, and you agree with everything else, you can say, I do not approve of this budget.
and then the whole thing is out?
Right.
Okay, so I guess that answers it. So it's either you approve the whole thing, or don't approve any of it.
We don't have
And-
the authority to lower it. We have the we have to either approve it as in whole, or deny it,
And you're talking about the general town.
everything. All of it.
Any
But
Larry-
the road and bridge is separate.
Yeah, but Larry's and ours, both, either one.
So there's two votes we're
There
gonna
is
have.
two votes.
That's what I'm trying to get. There's two votes we're gonna have, and if I'm not in agreement with the assessor's office of 441, then I have to make up my mind whether I say no to everything just because of the assessors, or say yes and then just have to live with the assessors.
That's right.
Okay,
That's my understanding.
okay, that's, all right, so I'll try to figure out.
I'd like to second Mike's motion to table this until the next meeting.
We got a motion and a second. Any questions? Any more
Half hour.
questions?
So, but, hold on, Mike, I don't even know why we even have.
Motion is on the floor,
Hey,
Derek.
but we couldn't vote on it anyway. I don't know what are you tabling?
Motion to table the levy,
To adjourn.
Yeah.
to adjourn.
To adjourn.
To have Jim do more stuff and put numbers down.
Well, your motion got a lot longer there, Mike.
Well, if you would listen,
Hey, now.
cooperate.
Okay, guys, calm down. Okay, we got a motion and a second. Roll
Are
call.
we voting to table it or to adjourn?
I don't even know why we have to table it. I don't understand that. That's the point.
Wait,
We couldn't vote on to
We're
approve it
only-
today.
We're in a meeting, we got to adjourn or not.
So we're not.
Well, what are you
It wasn't
gonna do,
to adjourn.
Derek? If you can't vote on it,
Did nothing. We're not, I mean, discussion's over. There's no vote needed.
Okay, then we don't need one. do we?
That's my
You
point.
know, there's nothing needs, you can table it if you want, or
Right,
not table
I
it if you want. I mean, it's, you know,
What's your,
I'll withdraw my second.
Could have
Let's
happened.
move on.
Yeah,
We
move
have
on.
does it
assessors,
look better?
the expert.
assessor, road commissioner comment.
Okay, if you don't think it makes a difference.
Larry
So-
needs to talk. When you're done.
so, right, and we're not even, we still got,
Yeah.
still got meetings scheduled. Yeah, we still got agenda items to go through. Right.
Okay. What we down to?
Are we canceling the
Right,
meeting?
meeting schedule.
Oh, yeah, meeting schedules here, right here. And we're canceling meeting November 13th due to a sports banquet at the center. And, just one meeting in November 27th.
We canceling the November 13th and November 27th.
I mean, since it's on the agenda, let
Just
me
one
just
meeting.
bring it up, because I feel like this board sometimes is, and I'll be honest, even me, we don't wanna feel like we're trying to get out of work, we're trying to keep something, from the public. We had talked about the meeting schedule a couple of times. How many meetings other townships are doing, how many meetings that we're doing, and actually how to get more things done in a productive way than the way we're doing it now. I'm just gonna say it. I think that what we had talked about, you weren't here last meeting, but I had mentioned that one meeting a month seems sufficient. For one reason is, when I had the meeting with you and Vicki, it was brought up that it is very confusing to have to do the bills and coincide things every 2 weeks. Now, I'm not saying we don't meet twice a month. I'm saying to be more productive. What is wrong, and this is a good time to have discussion, what is wrong with one meeting a month, we meet, and maybe it's in closed session, I'm fine with that, and just hear me out, all right? And then we discuss, say, if we find out things are going on with the assessor's office, or we discuss senior center, or we discuss, and we can have an open dialogue without anybody knowing what's going on, we can come to an agreement, then we have an open session, and we talk to the public about it.
Yeah, Dan?
Well,
Committee meeting.
we can't really have a committee meeting in a closed session unless, the only way you can have a closed session if it falls in the parameters of that law, which is personnel, property acquisition, labor negotiations, there's a few others, I don't know them all off the top of my head, I know enough to keep me straight. If we would approve this meeting, we're gonna have one in November, we're gonna have one in December. Maybe we can revisit having one meeting a month, with the knowledge that we may have to have a special meeting. That way,
Yeah.
we can move that meeting where we need it to be, the second meeting of the month. Everybody knowing we're gonna have a second meeting, we'll just schedule one maybe for like maybe the first Tuesday of the month, or the second Tuesday of the month, and then, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, I mean, I understand I appreciate your thoughtfulness about trying to get more stuff done in like an executive session, but there's only certain things you can discuss there.
Well, the only reason I bring that up is, as a bi-state board, that's how we do it, and it seems to really work well, and I know that it'll.
Executive session?
Yes,
But that's,
absolutely.
that's Missouri though, too, ain't it? I don't
No,
know
I'm
if the laws
Madison
are
County,
different.
I mean,
They have the
but
same laws.
my point is, and our attorney could speak well to this, more to this, is what he's saying is we can't go into executive I'm just trying to get something
The
done.
Illinois Open Meetings Act provides for very limited, reasons why a public body can go into executive session.
Now, we can never vote on anything, I totally
You're right,
understand
you
that.
can never vote on anything in
Right.
executive session, but there's also a limited number of items that you can go into executive session on.
Yes.
Some items you have to be open, so.
On the township front, I guess, or?
On any open meetings for any organization recognized as a public organization by the Open Meetings Act, you can't go into executive session just because you want to.
No, right, no, I mean, I'm for open then, so I don't, I'm just trying to get something done.
Right, no, I agree.
And I wonder how,
Can I make a motion
Okay,
that we
that's sick.
cancel the November 13th meeting?
Yes.
For this year? Am I allowed to?
Yes,
Do we-
cancel
do we need-
13th,
do
have
we
it
need-
November 27th.
Do we need that then?
I think that'd be smart.
We get a second and we'll vote on it and see where we're at.
We got a motion and a second.
Okay. We have a motion to cancel the November 13th meeting. Trustee Cox,
yes.
Trustee Foley,
Aye.
Trustee Hopkins,
Yes.
Trustee Royer,
Yes.
Supervisor Allen,
Yes.
motion carried.
So then the next meeting will be November the 27th, you said? Okay, and we're gonna try to get some answers, more answers about the levy. You'll be here for that one and the December one then? You'll be here for
I'm
both?
gonna try.
Can you
Oh,
be here
we'll be all
on
right then.
I mean,
the 27th? Okay.
just throw it
Let
out
me
there.
look at the calendar
If
just
we
to make
did
sure.
do
I don't want,
one meeting a month, just feedback. I mean, with
Tuesday,
the
right?
expectation we have at least
Yeah.
one special
what
meeting.
Hold
time
on,
will it be?
hold on, then,
What
please.
time will it be on the 27th?
Seven.
Your usual time, 7 o'clock?
Yes.
Here.
Here.
Because I know on Monday and Tuesday, I'm over in St. Louis at a tax conference and stuff, so I'll just, when I leave there, I'll just come straight here to Collinsville and
Okay.
do some stuff at the township office and then be here for the meeting. I won't go home and come back, that's
Very good.
too much driving
Dan?
then.
The meeting at 1 o'clock today, I mean, is that, is there a reason we have it during the day, or is it just, I'm curious, because it doesn't bother me, I just think that, I think.
I thought we had a lot of people here.
We should have a consistent time
Yeah, but
that we have our meetings, you know,
Yeah.
if we're gonna have them
Well,
scheduled at 7.
we can say we won't have no more days
I'm
unless
just
something special
throwing it out
comes
there,
up.
I just think that,
Yes.
you
Well,
know,
that's right.
we should remain, I think we should be consistent with
The
what
way
time.
I just kind of,
You can't have really any public here either.
no, I mean,
during the day, I mean, it's hard to.
Right, I mean, and that's what I'm saying. If our regular meetings are at 7, I think if we're gonna have a special meeting, maybe we should have it at 7. Now, the people that work days, Bones and you and some of us.
the way I took this meeting, the point of this meeting was just to talk about, openly
Okay.
about the levy, and let me just finish. And so, the reason that sometimes, and I would say this to the public, if they were all here, I feel like sometimes the way things are now, we can actually maybe get some more things done without all the controversy and all the side stuff going on. The point is, that's why I was open to 1 o'clock, all right? And that's why I'm open to maybe changing it up, because I feel that this board needs to come together and figure things out, because
But like
we'll all
Dan,
look better. And
and
it'll
like
help the
Dan
public.
says, we've gotta be fair to the public too.
We're not being unfair. They never knew this meeting would have happened, because our regular scheduled meeting isn't until the 13th. That's, you know, this was a special meeting, and it was just that I wasn't taking any vote, because I knew we couldn't take any vote, because it wasn't in the paper. So this was to discuss and get a knowledge of what the heck's going on with the levy. Go ahead.
This wasn't posted.
Yes,
Oh, it better,
Yes, it
yeah, it
was.
was posted,
Oh,
right, it was posted,
I
right.
checked, I didn't check the building, but I checked the website.
It was?
It's on the website.
It's on the website.
I checked
Right.
it. all
We're not, I
Pulling
mean,
a lot of teeth, but.
the reason I said that, I'm just saying that I didn't go out there with a bullhorn, hey, we've got a special meeting, you know, No, I mean, there was nothing gonna
But it
happen.
was on this building and,
All right, next one's, Larry, I think.
I don't have any comment except that we're keeping the levy the same for the last, so it's been 3 years or 4 years?
I think this is the fourth year.
Fourth year we haven't raised taxes. And I got some high dollar jobs that are gonna be happening soon. So we need what we've got.
When do you anticipate Lebanon Road starting or finishing or ballpark?
I know, Danny,
Ballpark, I mean, not,
well, the partner in the railroad died, so that's throwing us back.
partner in the railroad.
Yeah, who owns the guy who owns the railroad?
Really? Which railroad is that? Is it Terminal?
What is it, CX?
The CSX?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Move to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Chair, you made the motion?
No, I said, you wanna make a motion, you wanna make first?
I second.